So I was on Scan and Cut Canvas online. I was actually looking for an idea, just testing out some rhinestone ideas. More on that, a different video, a different day. But anyhow, I happened to notice right on the home page that's a feather pattern that just really appealed to me. And what I love about these, number one, they're free. And I've got it on my little USB drive here that I had working. So number one, they're free. And number two, you can take the pieces and do the exact project. They have a how-to. It's really simple to follow. Or maybe you want to do something totally different, and that's what I'm going to do. So here I've opened Feather 1, which is one of the files, and I'm going to try something here. I'm going to unite them all, and then I'm going to move them down to the bottom and say okay. And then I'm going to add, because I believe, let me take a look here, I believe that Feather 2, I'm going to say okay, yes. So I can get all of these feathers on one, and I have some ideas here for what I might want to do. And what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that what I may want to do is cut out a variety of materials. These are just so beautiful. So these are just beautiful, beautiful feathers. And if I did it exactly as recommended, well, if I did that, then I would have exactly the project that they made. Or I can kind of play around with it and maybe make my own little version, which is what I'm thinking about doing. So I've got all these little feathers in here. And then what I'm going to do is just start getting various materials. I'm going to try some vellum, I'm going to try some acetate, I'm going to try some cardstock. I've got my mat loaded in, and just one material at a time because of different thicknesses. I'm just going to load my mat with my materials and cut. So I've got my feathers cut out, and the way that this pattern is, there's actually little dots that it cuts, little teeny tiny dots that you can fold along. And what I love about this, and actually I'm going to do this the opposite way, because I want a couple of feathers to be the opposite. So what I love about this is it gives you a little dimension there for your feathers. And I've got different sizes cut out. There's some different sizes, some different dimensions there. This is going to be such an easy project, and yet it's going to add so much. Now, I thought about the hanging decor, and this will have a hanging element, but I'm kind of customizing this, and I've got forever. This is just word art that I pulled off my scan and cut. I just went through, and this happened to work. If I didn't want this, I could make my own. I could purchase an SVG file or make my own file, scan my own writing. There's so many options with this machine. Honestly, it's why you see me use it so much, and why I'm always talking about how much I love it, because I do. There's just so much that we can do. But be really careful. Hot glue is ideal for a project like this because of the surfaces. However, hot glue is hot. You do not want to touch it. You do not want to burn yourself. So be really careful, guys, if you're working with hot glue. It's so easy to burn yourself. So really, really take care with that. Now I'm going to tuck a few more things. Now if the tail of the feather is getting in your way, just pull it right off. I'm going to keep working. This is still gluing down, so that needs another minute. That hot glue is just absolutely molten hot, so I need to give that another minute, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on this feather and tuck this up underneath. So I've got some metallic embroidery thread, and I've got 2 strands of it on here. There are 6 strands on this particular one, and what I have done is I've just been pulling back the other 4 strands, and that's created this little nest, this little messy little bundle. Now that's not an accident. We want that, or I want that. And what I'm going to do is put a good amount of hot glue under here, and then very, very, very carefully, in fact, I'm going to use these non-stick scissors to tap that down onto there and get it stuck so that I do not accidentally touch it. You really got to be careful when it is this smoking hot. If you have a spatula, if you have whatever tools you've got, I mean, you could even use your scan and cut stylus in here to make sure everybody gets stuck. But we want to get that stuck in there. And I know that looks funny, but watch what we're going to do. I'm going to move this wreath up, and then just going to not pull on this, but I'm going to see let's see how far. Okay, so I've got a good amount of thread. So I'm still attached. And now what I'm going to do is just go through each of those that I wanted here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pull, not too far, but I'm going to see how far it is exactly that I wanted to go and have this. I don't want these dangling too far off. Okay, and then I'm going to punch a second hole not too far away and pull it back through. So essentially what I've just done is just threaded this through. Okay, and I know this is messy. It's a little messy and a little crazy right now, but I want this to have kind of a bird's nest messy look. This is such a fun project. I just love how this is turning out. Okay, so I'm going to pull like so. And then it's up to me. I could keep going with the same piece of thread, or on the back side of this, I could, and I think I will in this case, knot this off. Same exact thing. Poking 2 little holes here. Oh, and this one I did the opposite. So this one I have it on the front, which is fine. I'll go like so. And then since the needle's still on here, you just move slowly with this kind of project, guys, because you see how, you know, like this one, I could redo this if I wanted so that it was on the back, but I kind of like the idea of the knot being on the front for one. So with this done, what we're going to do, well, first of all, over here, I'm going to cut loose some of these threads, and I can kind of tug on them now that it's cooled, and it's holding really tight. So that's really good. These are really holding on. I'm excited. So now with these other threads, I get to decide, do I want to, how do I want to do this? Do I want to try and glue them on? Do I want to tie them on? For this one, I'm going to tie it on. So what's your important thing here is, number one, figure out where you want it about. Don't try to be super controlling, just about where do you want it. And then you can do this by hot gluing the pieces in. You could use your needle and thread it into the actual wreath. Me, I'm just going to tie a little knot here. With the clear drying glue, now is when, for final touches here, I'll come through with little buttons, like so, and tuck them in places where the hot glue is great, but the hot glue is great for when you know it's not going to be seen. If you think it might be seen, then you're going to be better off getting a little bit of clear drying adhesive. Whatever your preference is on that will work. Hot glue is great stuff, but like I said, like I keep saying, if you put it like this little bit with this little button, it would show up on our finished project, and I don't want that to show up. So as a final touch, I'm thinking some white glitter glue here and there, maybe accent along these feathers with some glitter glue, at least on the ones that are pattern paper. Maybe add a little on some of the other shapes, just to kind of, I'm just going to kind of rub that around. It's kind of a clear sparkle. It'll show up when it dries, and have fun with it. I can keep adding or not. It's totally up to me or you if you're making something like this. If you do make something like this project, I'd love to hear what you did, or if you make the original, which I think is a super cute project, and quite honestly, I want to go back and make myself. But if you make something like that, let me know. Be sure to share a link with me. I'm going to keep adding a few more things here, and I will share more thoughts, more details, and links and all of that good stuff over on my blog. I'll see you next time.